Oh my God!
All right, welcome to the Haunted Saloon. I'm AJ. I'm here with Jordan Haas today, Franks and Deans.
Hello.
And, we've bumped into each other, off and on throughout the last couple of years, maybe doing shows and stuff, gotten to know each other a little bit, but I'm kind of like dying to pick your brain a little bit. And
Best of luck. There's a lot to pick.
So we're just going to jump in and just start scratching away at it.
Sure.
So when did Franks and Deans start?
Well, let's see. That would have been fall of 2013. Yeah. Well, actually, that's not true. It started well before that, but I'm not sure when. I didn't start the band.
Okay. Give me a brief, if you could, just give me a brief kind of...
Of the band?
Yeah.
So Rob, our bass player, Rob DeTai, he had the concept years ago, from what I understand. He did a thing with an old choir teacher where he came in and did, I want to say it was Fly Me to the Moon, and played guitar, and thought to himself, this can't be that easy, doing an old big band type song on just him and a guitar.
Right.
And around that same time, I had an act that I did. Let me move back a little bit. My wife and I moved to Las Vegas in late 2006. And in that time, I had this idea of putting together a lounge act, but like kind of a little heavier, a little greasier, a little dirtier, So I spent better part of 7 years looking for a piano player. Little did I know, piano players that are capable of doing what I wanted to accomplish, they want more for a rehearsal. They want to get paid for a rehearsal more than I was planning on the whole band getting paid in general, So I started this little act called the Tattooed Crooner. And it was mainly during Punk Rock Bingo, Genocide's old show at the Double Down. And for anybody that doesn't know, it was bingo. It was a bingo show, but it was all about what happened in between the games. Burlesque dancers and sideshow. I'd come out, sing a song or two, like all kinds of stuff would happen. So around that same time, Rob had hooked up with a couple guys from a band called Shotguns and Gasoline, Derek James and Pip, the drummer. And Jen introduced me to Derek, and he tells me, we've got this thing we're starting up. It's called Franks and Deans. We're doing the old crooner tunes, but we're doing them punk rock style. And at that point, I'm still thinking, I'm still in the mindset of I'm looking for a backup band.
Right.
So I go to their rehearsal the next night. I go check out. He's like, just come watch a rehearsal. I was like, okay. So I come check it out. They get into their second song, which I think was Ladies of Tramp. And I just threw my hands up in the air and I went, Jesus fuck, it's a punk band. This whole time it's been a punk band. And I had no idea, that that's what I needed to do. And I had been, I've been playing in bands since I was 12, 13 years old. So this is how I'd never thought about just putting a band together to do this. Is still beyond me. Just so happens that Rob and I are the only two left out of that original quartet. But yeah, that's pretty much how it worked. Is they, I came and checked out a rehearsal and I was like, this is genius. I think you guys are great. Like, I want in. And then Rob showed me the original logo for the band, and I had been collecting these turquoise Epiphones since the late 90s, early 2000s. And I was like, well, this logo even matches my guitars. Like, this is too perfect.
Right.
And then about a year in, we started Weenie Roast. Samson moved down from where he and I are originally from, Boise, Idaho, and hit the ground running.
Was guitar your main instrument always?
No. Well, I've always been a singer. My mother taught me how to sing harmony vocals when I was 5 years old.
The voice came before the instruments.
Very much so.
Okay.
I joined the choir when I was 5th grade. And then there was just an elementary school choir, but then I joined the school choir in, I want to say 8th grade, and right around that same time I picked up the guitar. I picked up a bass for the first time, and that's my instrument of choice was a bass at first. I heard Cream's rendition of Crossroads.
Okay.
And I was like, what is that? What's that? Not the guitar. What's that? And I think it was my brother explained to me that's the bass. I said, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So I spent 10 years playing blues and jazz and classic rock, and I thumbed my nose at punk. I always thought it was beneath me. Like 3 chords? I'm more interested in challenging music. And then I filled in for a friend's band that, their buddy got grounded or something, and hey, can you come play bass for us for this? It's really easy. Just, we got time for a rehearsal. And so I went over and rehearsed the songs with them. I don't even remember what the name of that band was. And I was like, wait a second. These kids are going apeshit for 3 chords. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I think energy plus aggression and just certain elements. Like, I knew guys that were like super guitar shredders, like you could never put them on stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, where, that obviously attracted you to start.
Oh yeah. I've always been more interested in the live show. I enjoy recording and making records and stuff like that, but pales in comparison to the live show.
So you're
which is, the live show, I started working on the tech side of things when I was about 13, 14 as well.
Okay.
I joined up with a sound and lighting company. I looked 23. I was the kid in junior high that was 6'4" with a beard.
Yeah. And I'll say with the multiple vocals in a band, that to me is what sets apart an okay band and like a really good band, right? Especially when the band is not a vocal band, and everyone's fucking singing and harmonizing. That just takes anything good to another level.
And actually, I should say, even before Switch Hitters, some of the bands I had in high school and stuff like that, every single one of them had more than one singer.
I can honestly say that's the one thing I don't have experience in because I never had guys who could fucking sing. I was always the front man. I was always,
sure.
If I wasn't playing guitar and singing, I was, this guy, so it was more about crowd pleasing and like the aggression of the music than it was like the the skill level and the.
Well, I think that's my all-time. I have 2 all-time favorite bands: Bad Religion and Fishbone. And Fishbone was the first band that I ever saw where Angelo is the front man of the band, but other people sing lead too. You know what I mean?
Right.
So and I first saw them 92, maybe 93 or 4.
Yeah.
And that just blew my mind. And then, as I've thought about it over the years, like a lot of bands that I love had more than one singer.
Yep.
And that's just always, I don't know if it's a matter of, I have absolutely no issue sharing spotlight. Like I hate solo gigs. I don't know how you do your solo stuff.
I hate it, dude. I hate it too. I'm only doing it because I have to.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I've gotten hired to do a couple solo acoustic gigs, and it's the most uncomfortable.
Yeah.
For me, but it's not only just sharing the spotlight that I enjoy and I prefer. It's about the vocals. Like if. Yeah. Making vocal harmonies with people is kind of one of the reasons I even do this.
Yeah.
Even on our very, very worst gigs with Franks and Deans, and there's only been a couple of them ever that we walked away going, that was terrible. Not because of the way we played, just the gig itself. Horrible sound or nobody showed up or what have you. There's still that one I can think of. I'm not going to name where it was, but the worst gig that we have ever played in my eyes, and there was still that one moment where we hit a 3-part harmony and I could hear it reverberating through the entire room. And I just closed my eyes and went, well, today was worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, 100%. It's like my first band that I've ever, I think, listened to, and the first band I ever saw in concert was the Beach Boys.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, you know, my parents had me late. They were like in their 40s when I was born. Mm-hmm. So I grew up on the oldies. Yeah. You know, so doo-wop. I mean, it was all harmony-based music. Mm-hmm. So the dream was to always be in a band and do that. You know, I never ever fantasized about the solo act thing, or I would just record everything acoustically. Like, you know, I write songs that are meant for 4 people, you know?
Right.
It's just, I don't know, just for whatever reasons out of my control, I just haven't been able to keep certain guys together.
I've said it a million times. I am I don't like calling myself this, but you know, it is what it is, and the rest of the band would have no problem with it. Is I am the luckiest band leader in the world. Like, I have 4 other people, including someone who's not even playing an instrument.
Right. Like,
they are the most dedicated people to this vision, this thing, this whatever. I've never, in all my years of doing this, I've never had everyone on the same page. There's always at least one person who has that job, or has that girlfriend, or has that something tying them home, and they can't get the time off, or they have something else going on. Like, and I was touring full time as a roadie when this thing started. I had no intentions that this was going to be the thing, like none. And when it started kind of picking up steam, I right before Samson moved into town, because we moved him down here specifically to be in the band. Right. And right before that happened, I said, okay, well, I'm gonna. My roadie job was coming to an end. I could see writing on the wall and whatnot. And it's like, I could jump off of this job and go tour with a lot of different people, making probably really good money. I'm willing to forego that one more time in my life. 36, I want to say I was. Yeah, 35, 36. I'm willing to give up, quote unquote, give up my career to play in this band and try and make it a thing, make it a full-time job, but you guys have to be on board. I came down here thinking, nah, I'm never going to find that again. I'm just going to try and be a lounge singer, you know, have fun with it. Yeah. And then I met Rob. Damn. And he and I hit a harmony together, and we both just looked at each other, and I was like, I never thought I'd find that again. And he goes, I never thought I'd find it ever. Wow.
Isn't it awesome, man?
Oh, yeah, God, it's the best thing ever.
It's so good.
I appreciate it.
It's too original.
I appreciate you know what I mean? The way I view it is we're doing what everyone else that did these songs have done. We're just doing our own arrangements. Right. You know, as I've said this a million times, 100 people recorded Fly Me to the Moon before Frank Sinatra ever got his hands on it. It's just his version that made it famous. Frank Sinatra never wrote any music. Dean Martin never wrote any songs. Like, these were all written for them, or their producers or arrangers picked them up and said, hey, what do you think of this? Like, yeah, exactly. So we're just rearranging the old songs in our own way. Right. That's why I was like real careful, like, you know, when you're describing a band to somebody that's never heard before, because you guys are definitely an original thing. And, thanks, man. Yeah, the last time I saw you guys, some of the stuff you're doing, I didn't actually expect you to play, because the previous times I hadn't heard you play them. And it's, you know, and even as, and I don't want to call you a local band either, because you are international and you travel all over and you tour all over. I still consider us a local band. Well, that's cool. I can go ahead and say that. But like locally, I've seen you a bunch because you're local. Mm-hmm. But it's nice to still be fucking surprised, you know, and actually like go out with the intention of like, oh, I wonder what I'll get tonight, you know? Yeah, we try to keep it different. We've gone through a couple of drummers in the last 2 years, so we've had to kind of start over a couple times, and we have a catalog. Jesus, I think we're up to 110 songs, something like that. So it's like, where do we start? Well, here's the albums. Here's the 3 albums that we have so far. Learn those, here's some staples that we play at Weenie Roast, that you got to know these because people come up and perform with us.
If you were to describe Franks and Deans to somebody who's listening right now that isn't here locally and doesn't know much about you, how would you kind of sum that up in a nutshell? And
Punk Rock Vegas Lounge Show. That's it. We're a Vegas lounge show in the vein of punk rock.
Yep.
We've got our own Vegas showgirl. It's comedy, it's music, and as Samson says, at least once during every show, we're just here to fuck up your grandmother's music.
Yeah.
It's
No, and it is awesome, and like that's the most
ruining the songs of yesteryear.
Yeah, and you get that full Vegas feel when you see your show too. There's a lot going on. You get the dancers.
Well, and the reason this started to begin with is because Rob and I were kind of on the same page. I was trying to start a lounge act, and he was kind of starting this. There's these great songs that literally built this town that we live in. Like without that music, this town wouldn't be what it is today.
Yeah,
and it's going away.
Yeah.
So let's try and rebrand it and redo it for I can't say a younger generation because I'm 42, but for people to show their kids, hey, this is a song now here's Frank Sinatra's version of Luck Be a Lady. Now listen to Frank Sinatra's version. Yeah. Now listen to Sammy Davis Jr.'s version. You know what I mean?
And that's why there's so much love and appeal for you guys, I think. And that's certainly why I was like, okay, on board instantly. Because I fucking hate when a beautiful fucking song that I love is on a fucking detergent commercial all fucking cartooned up and
it's funny that you say that because there's something we've noticed over the last few years. We'll start getting an arrangement together for a song, and I shit you not, within 2 months of us like working on this song or starting to perform it or whatever, I'll hear a version of it in a movie or a commercial or something.
Yeah.
Like, hey, damn it. We're just
like somehow you universally set out a wave of like
we did this mashup with Green Day and Feeling Good.
Yep.
And my favorite is when somebody asked me or mentioned something about that Michael Bublé song. I'm like, okay, we'll go with that. As long as you already know the song, good for you.
Right.
But like, and then I hear it was in a car commercial, like not even 2 months after we released it on an album. I'm like, well, fuck.
Yeah, I just hate when they really like dumb it down though.
Yeah,
in the commercials they have like the voice actors making it sound like real stupid. Like good golly Miss Molly should not be a fucking like Mary Had a Little Lamb. It should not become this like kids.
There's just they're just feeding the masses,
Yeah.
they gotta do what they gotta do.
But that's what you're saying though. The music's fucking disappearing. It's becoming this trickle thing. That's
I mean,
getting watered down.
Right now, you've got in Las Vegas, you've got one Rat Pack tribute show and Frank Sinatra and D. Martin Boulevard. You know what I mean? Like the Elvis Museum's gone, the Liberace Museum's gone. And I nothing against those people for closing down. They closed down because no one was going. Nobody gives a shit. And that's a bummer. And that's one of my only gripes about living in Las Vegas is it's so fast to tear down and build new. Yeah. Forget the past. Forget where this town came from.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, our original mission statement was to keep it, just try and keep it alive just a little bit,
Yeah.
Not knowing whatsoever that we were going to end up touring all over the country doing this.
Yeah, being born and raised here, man, like, it was kind of hard enough not finding identity in a place you live because you see all these kids around you and they got their Chicago Bears shirt on or they got this thing on and there was no like identity. I'm like, well, I don't have a team and I don't have this and I don't have that. And yeah, it sucks not having that history. So I greatly appreciate you guys.
Yeah, it's the most fascinating place I've ever been. I love this town with all my heart. I really do. Like I can't call myself a native because I was born somewhere else, but man, this is really my kind of place.
And it's really nice to hear that. because you don't hear that very and you know what? I kind of went on this like Facebook rant a couple months ago. Just how comfortable people are talking shit about Las Vegas.
It's surprising.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. It's touristy and all this shit, but it pisses me off because you would not go to fucking downtown Boston and go, fuck your city and this is shit and you guys are dog shit and all this.
Yeah.
Like, you'd get your fucking ass handed to you.
Well, and not only that, you got people that move here, spend 6 months here, they cause their own situations for why they have a bad experience here, and then they go, oh, fuck Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Whoa. That was your fault.
Yeah.
Like this town, that's the beauty of Las Vegas. There is opportunity in this town like nowhere else on planet Earth. Yeah. And this Las Vegas is whatever you want it to be.
It's true.
No matter what you're into, no matter what your vice is, no matter what your hobbies are, you can get it at any price range 24 hours a day.
This is so true.
And if you can't make your way in a place like that, that's not the city's fault.
Yeah.
That's your fault.
Yeah, that was beautifully said.
That's because you moved here and your girlfriend cheated on you. That's not because of Las Vegas. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like that's I've seen it numerous times where someone will move here, not last 6 months, and you know, because it is true. This, if you're not prepared, this town will eat you up and spit you right back out.
Yeah,
and that's not because the city sucks. It's because you didn't know what you were doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's funny because I will defend this city to the ends of the earth. Where I grew up, nope.
Yeah, that's a rare thing.
I'll be the first one to talk shit about Boise.
That's what you don't often hear that shit, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And the first time I ever came here, I was 20. I hated it.
Really?
Oh man,
Too fucking hot.
I lost.
You lost.
Yeah. That's why I hated it. I lost. Then I started coming here because I had friends here and started finding out about the city beyond the lights. You know what I mean? And realizing, oh, wait, this place is really cool. And then someone took me to the Double Down. I was hooked. I walked into the Double Down and said,
Splish splash, I was taking a bath all up on a Saturday night. Wrapped up, just relaxing in the tub, thinking everything is alright. Well, I took out the tub, put my feet on the floor. I rocked the town around the air, we're right to the door. We're saying, splish splash, I jump back in the bath. How was I to know that there's a party going on? Splishing and a splashing, moving and a grooving, pleasing him. Oh, whoa, whoa, splishing and a splashing, moving and a grooving, rocking and a rolling, feeling and a feeling, yeah.
I saw the whole gang dancing down my living room rug, yeah. Flip flop, they was doing the bop. All the kids at the dancing bud. There was a lollipop and a tank of Susan. Golly, Mr. Marlon wasn't even there to splish splash. I forgot about the bath. I wanted to put my head to
wanna be like you, wanna walk like you, talk like you too. You see it's true, someone like me can learn to be human too. That's what I'm working on right now.
Nice.
It's a mashup between Joe Maphus's Rockin' Gypsy.
What's on that pedal board?
Oh yeah, that's where we were going. Okay, so on my pedal board, I have let's just follow the signal path from the guitar, which could be an Epiphone, could be a Gretsch, usually one of those two, P90s almost exclusively. We go into a Dunlop volume pedal with the tuner out, and then volume pedal to the Electro Harmonix B9 organ machine.
Okay.
The only wacky, zany pedal that I have.
Yeah.
Organ into a custom, the It's called the Red Scare Overdrive. It's my own custom model made by Post Culture Pedals out of Boise, Idaho. Good friend of mine named James Johnson. He makes like Fender Champ type amps and tweeds and makes effects pedals. He's got Post Culture Pedals, PCP, if you will, and Vanilla Sunday Pedals are the two companies that he has. So I'm in a weird spot with equipment. I'm a gear guy. I could name a guitar and I could talk about it for 4 hours. Like that. Just Taylor. We could do a whole fucking podcast on that guitar.
Yeah.
I'm a dork, but I have everything I want.
Yeah.
There's when I went to him, I didn't want anything. I didn't need anything. Yeah. Like I make all the sounds that I want. I'm done. But I fly. Sometimes with my pedal board. So let's take my overdrive and my boost and make them one pedal. So I was for years, I used Boss OD3.
Yep.
I switched over to an Exotic Effects AC booster, the yellow one.
Yeah.
And I had a Dunlop there's three companies. There's Dunlop, MXR, and Custom Audio Electronics. I think it's a CAE clean boost. Just doesn't add any color. There's no tone knob. It's just a volume knob. So I said, can you put these two pedals into one? And so he looks up the Exotic Effects and I can make that happen. So, if somebody wanted it, they could buy my same pedal. That's awesome. He'll make it, I'm sure. So that's my overdrive and my boost. From there, that goes into you ever seen those little hot tone pedals?
Oh yeah.
I went to Sam Ash and I was like, let me have every tremolo pedal that you have in here. Okay. I want to try them all. And because there was one song that we had, I want to say it was Luck Be a Lady, and we were about to go into the recording studio and do that song. Mm-hmm. And there was one song where I heard in my head this tremolo guitar part.
Okay.
And then I started thinking, well, I could probably use it in a few other spots. So I tried out all these different tremolo pedals, and this little tiny $65 hot tone was the only one that cut all the way into the signal.
Okay.
Like everything else would dip the signal. This is the only one that cut the signal out, So that's from the overdrive distortion combo into a Dunlop mini bass wah, the white one. I just like the frequency range on the bass wah a little better. That goes into the tremolo, and then that goes into my quilter head. Samson and I both have our head, the quilter heads mounted on our pedal boards, so everything's always right in front of us. Right. We don't have to walk back to our amps to make any tone adjustments. And then in the effects loop, I was using a way huge Aquapus for my slapback delay, and then a MXR carbon copy for my Dead Kennedy style. So I had two delays. So just recently for my birthday, I had Post Culture Pedals make me a custom 2 delays in one box.
Nice.
So the reason I'm doing that is with the way our pedal boards are set up, we can fly with them. Give me a cabinet, any cabinet at all, and I can use it. So I have the same rig no matter where I go. I don't have to borrow somebody's Mesa Boogie or Marshall or something. Just, you got a cabinet? Cool. What speakers? Don't care. Yeah. What impedance? Don't care. The quilter does the automatic impedance adjustment. Tired of two things. Tubes sound different every night. I'm over it. And then I got tired of carrying a 150-pound fucking amp around. I want something smaller. So in my time spent with Reverend Horton Heat, working for him, we had Deke Dickerson out as a guest spot on the show.
All right.
And he brought his own amp, and it was this Quilter combo amp. And I went, he's like, hey, can you guys just throw this in the trailer, in your trailer? Do you have room for it? And I was like, oh, sure, yeah. We'll set it up for you and whatnot. It's kind of what we were paid for. And so I go to pick it up and it's like 5 pounds. And I was like, whoa, what's this? What's this all about? Because I was one of those solid state. No, I don't touch solid state amp, stuff like that. And he kind of clued me into this quilter stuff. And what that is the QSC power amps for like PAs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Q is Pat Quilter Labs amplification. Back in the 70s, he was boasting that he could make a solid state amp that sounded just as good and broke up just the same as a tube amp, and nobody believed him. Well, he fucking did it.
And that's what you play.
And that's eventually when they came out with their block series amps, the little heads.
Okay.
And I borrowed one from somebody and just tried it out, and I was like, and my original thought was, okay, this is fine for the road. This is fine for live gigs. It's going to be easier to set up. I got a little teeny tiny cabinet to go with it. It's 2 8s.
Right.
It's 200 watt rig, but it's 2 8-inch speakers.
I'd say real artists and real chefs such as yourselves never run out of ingredients.
Oh, no.
So that like pressure of like we got to do a studio thing. It's never the case, right? Because you could just, hey guys, boom, boom, boom. You guys.
Yeah, I mean we got to work at it. It takes time and whatnot. But right now we're in the process of what songs do we want to focus on? Because the other thing for us is we don't go into the studio until all the songs are completely finished and they've been played at least 50 times each. 100 right. Is more likely. Like
if it's not tits, then you're not.
There's no guesswork. I don't want anyone taking more than 3 or 4 takes to do anything ever in the studio. It should take no more than 2 takes.
Right.
If you haven't rehearsed enough that you're taking 10, 15 takes to do a guitar solo, why are you here? You're just wasting money.
Yeah.
Like studio time's expensive. I'm not like every vocal line, every drum fill, everything should be already known and planned out before you even cross the threshold into that studio. Before I even book the studio time, those songs are done. Bad Religion at House of Blues, and now I'm standing next to the president of UNLV and the president of Southern Wine and Spirits. Billions with a B, dog. Like, this guy is worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I'm standing on stage next to him in a tuxedo t-shirt holding a guitar that instead of Fender says fucker. And that kind of is another thing that explains our band is, do you want us to play a punk show? Cool. You want us to play a 3-hour restaurant gig? Okay.
That is
we don't
the best
care.
fucking way you can sum you guys up.
Yeah.
Fucking right there.
We have been very fortunate is we've done casino gigs. We don't. Yeah. That's not our favorite shows that we play, but let me tell you, they pay a lot better than some of the punk gigs. We have an agent now, which is weird. It's weird for me because I've been doing the booking this whole time.
Yeah.
And now I'm not doing it anymore. And people are like, hey, would you guys be interested in playing I hate saying this, but you have to talk to our agent. I really don't like saying that. But but one of his struggles, because he's seen us quite a few times, and he's like, I've seen you. I get it. Where I'm having a hard time is explaining you to someone that hasn't seen you. Because the second that they see your show, they're going to want you at their club fucking 5 times a year. That is not going to be an issue. The hard part is getting them to book you that first time. Because it's so hard to explain.
Yeah.
And I never really thought that just punk rock Rat Pack was going to be a hard thing to explain to people. But here's the thing. When most average people throughout the world hear punk rock, they think Johnny Rotten. Johnny Rotten at 19 years old.
It must sound like shit.
Yeah. It must be loud and obnoxious and sound like shit because they don't know who Lagwagon is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just the genre of punk puts an image in some people's mind that it's garbage or it's
or it's loud or it's inappropriate, whatever. Which we can certainly be loud and inappropriate sometimes, but but
you're professional.
But we know when to do that, and we know when we can do that.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But that's I think that's, like I said, that's everything that I can currently speak about. You know, there'll be some more announcements coming later in the year.
What's your favorite movie soundtrack of all time?
Singles. That's easy. Followed very, very, very close second is The Crow. I was 12 years old in 1992.
No, I get it, man.
So
I get it.
And those two Pearl Jam songs on that single soundtrack are just hot fire.
Yeah.
And I know some people don't like Pearl Jam. Ain't gonna hold that against them. I get it, but again, I grew up in the Northwest in the late 80s and early 90s. Pearl Jam was a big deal for me. Yeah, those are my two favorite soundtracks.
Yeah. What if someone wants to book you? Who do you contact?
That you can go through franksneens.com. All the information's on there.
Awesome, man. Anything else you want to?
No, man, this was fun.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate you coming by, man. It was cool.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
At least hear a little bit about you.
Yeah.
You're an interesting guy, man.
Thanks, man.
You talk the language. You talk the talk. You walk the walk.
Well, if you ever want to do it again, I got a lot more stories.
Yeah, I'd love to dive in too, man. All right, buddy.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this has been the Haunted Saloon with Jordan Haas from Franks and Deans. It's been a pleasure talking to him. And,
thanks for listening.
Catch you guys next week.
Tomorrow night's the full moon. You're gonna change.
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand.